You gotta protect the balls, Roxroy.
I don't like soccer.
He's gonna feel that one for a few days.
There is such grace in a game of soccer. It makes me cry.
Here's Marianne!
Yes, that's right. It is Wednesday, March 16th, 2022, and we just finished watching the second episode of Survivor Season 42 here on Super Mader Brothers Podcasting. I'm Dave Mader, joined with my brother Jeff Mader and co-host Jaemeel Robinson to break this episode all down for you tonight. As we see our third castaway sent out of the game, second voted out, but they say third just to make it simpler. And unfortunately for Jaemeel, he loses yet another member of his draft here in Mariah, getting voted out from the Orange Taku tribe tonight. It looked like a unanimous vote, I believe. I don't think there were any dissenters.
I'm pretty sure it was, minus the fact that some people couldn't spell her name properly.
Well, it was interesting because it came down to tonight between Mariah and Marianne, who have the same first five letters of their names, even with Marianne just having the NNE at the end. So it was kind of fun. They were kind of showing us, like, which name is it going to be? Are they going to add the NNE into the end or not? Who will be voted out here? But a lot to break down in this episode from we got what's his name? High over on the Green tribe. He's a vegan, not doing well without the rice. I think he's a major quit potential, if you ask me. Over on the Blue tribe, there's definitely some issues with Drea and some others not quite gelling with her. In particular, who's that one from the Blue tribe who's kind of a loose cannon? Tori, right? Tori is not feeling Drea over there, and that's kind of coming to a head. The other part that was funny to me tonight too with the Blue tribe was just how with Tori was like, I'm glad I'm staying, but it's day 3, and I'm kind of wishing that they voted me out. You know, instead of Zach, who was voted out in the last episode. So. Okay, we're gonna see that goes, but ultimately, the main headline is Taku loses this immunity challenge, the blindfold immunity challenge. They should have won it. I was pretty disappointed because I have my two draftees are both on the Orange tribe, so I'm definitely pulling for that tribe to win, but they couldn't get it done tonight. Anyway, I've talked a lot. Maybe we'll go to Jeff next. Jeff, what did you think of tonight's episode?
I kind of. You know what? I think tonight taught us that Survivor's a cold game. I thought it was kind of... It's not what I would have done. I would not have voted out Mariah. I would have voted out Marianne here. I think they made a mistake. They this whole idea, strength of tribe versus person you kind of bond with more is a mistake. I think most of the time when that occurs, I think what you should do is pick the person you bond more with. I don't think they should have voted to keep Mariah because of her brother, and that was a sad story and definitely a big part of their decision. But I think they kind of admitted it in the episode that they kind of bonded more with her, and they kind of but they ended up picking Marianne, even though she's kind of a liability as far as her mouth. Yeah, okay, not kind of a huge liability. As I would Jeff, did you have any of the sounds tonight from Travel tonight, Dave? Where Marianne went on for
I think that's the entire podcast could just be monologues.
Just be monologues. Marianne. No, I didn't pull any of. The only thing I pulled from Marianne was this.
Here's Marianne!
Can you play the "It's Me" from Niagara? Because it's that levels of annoyance.
It's me.
Lord,
I think, Jaemeel, I can tell you're like me. Like I feel like with Marianne that I don't think I see. Amanda and I were talking about this. She would be very annoying to be around 24/7. They kind of admit that in the episode, some of her tribe mates, but at the same time, I think the more you're around her, the harder it would be to get rid of her because she literally is like a child. She has a childlike attitude toward the game, toward life. She literally reminds me of girls in like 9th grade. That's kind of her maturity level. And I think this is
Grade 9.
Grade 9. Sorry, I was for the
Yeah.
American viewers. I know DM rocks Mary Bass, probably American viewers. I know Mary is. So, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like her entire it's so much innocence. It's so much freshness to life. Like I think Jonathan said that about her. Like we got the one, got Mariah, who's like, the wise old woman, and then we have like the woman that hasn't experienced anything yet, really. The complete polar opposites, and that was the decision tonight, which I thought was interesting. Like I think, the two guys were going to protect each other, but the three girls could have decided who they wanted to go home today, and Lindsay never went that way.
No, yeah, Jaemeel, what are your thoughts?
Okay. So I'm watching it with my parents, and my mom sees, a lot of herself in Marianne in terms of like she wants to have that approach to life, that zest, that eagerness, that thing. So she's like, I like her a lot. Till later on the episode, man, she's talking too much. They need to get rid of her, right? Like she changed from like pulling for her at the beginning of the episode to like, I want Jonathan to do well in this show, right? it was like, and I think that's just like a sample size of kind of seeing like a couple of days, like in a single episode. Just imagine this, like just in and out, right? Where a simple question turns into like, it's like you're talking to Kevin Smith and you ask a simple question.
Yes.
And then you're like, I don't even remember what the question was. You just went on so many tangents. Just imagine if someone asks, does anyone from your tribe have a idol? Well, none of us do,
Right.
but we haven't found it yet. But we found some clues and we actually put it like, I totally feel like she will give up everything. She'll like draw maps, right? Detailing everything. She is a complete mess where you just see the flip side with Mariah, who they ask her a simple question and she understands the situation like immediately. It's like, either me or her. Most likely, I think you should keep me. And they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna keep me. It's like, well, if you're doing that, you don't want her to play shot in the dark, so you're most likely gonna tell her that you're gonna vote for me. Like that kind of insight, right? You're gonna have a swap soon, right?
Yes.
It's gonna happen. We know
Yes.
it's gonna happen, especially when you're down. Like we're already down 3 people or ahead of time. They're gonna do a swap eventually, right? Right.
Yeah.
These are the type of people you want to keep.
Mariah. So you would okay?
Absolutely.
I'm a little biased here because I have Marianne in the draft, and much like your mom, a fellow Pisces, I was pulling for her. I was like, I like her energy. She's very earnest. She means well, and she's a character on the show. Not Mariah to me is a boring player. Like not somebody I think adds much to this show.
Dave, tonight you had, imagine you're Omar, because you also have Omar in this draft.
Yes.
So you're Omar, you're on the Orange Tribe, and you're left with the decision. Do I vote out Marianne, who's the young ball of energy? Yes, she's more athletic and she could do well or better in the challenges, but
swing a machete.
I was a little concerned for her feet when she was doing that. I mean, she wasn't wearing any shoes. I was like, this girl's a little the energy is like at a 13. It's not even at an 11. It's like it's so over the top. It's like they were marveling at her. It was like the middle of the night and she was still going, and it was just like
they're like she's on until bedtime. Basically, is what they say after 5 days.
Yeah,
and but I think Jonathan was the one who ultimately was the one who was advocating for her the most. Not Omar, the fellow Canadian. He didn't care. That hasn't even been brought up that they're from like a GO train stop away from each other. But
I think well, no, she's from Kitchener, isn't she not?
She's from Ajax. And he's from Kitchener originally, but he lives in Whitby now.
Oh, so they're like right beside each other.
Yeah, I know. They're like for those who don't know, Marianne and Omar's towns are like right next to each other. And not that that's a huge deal, but like it's the first time there have been two Canadians playing Survivor at the same time, and they're on the same tribe together for that matter.
Basically, it's akin to like both people being from Rhode Island.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Pretty much, or like one's from Queens and one's from Bronx. You know what I mean?
Well,
Or like,
and on the other tribe, you got Jenny from Brooklyn, and then you got Mike from where is he from? Hoboken, right? So, which is right.
But
across the river.
there are more people in between those two boroughs in comparison to Whitby and HS.
I know. Oh yeah. It's even closer, right? But
they probably shop in the same, like, I was gonna say A&P, but let's say Dominion.
Jeff, a couple comments here. One's for you. I agree with you, Jeff. I am not liking that they aren't giving them any rice or beans. This reminds me of Naked and Afraid. Did you say that? Did you say that you don't like this?
I have said it before. I think with this accelerated thing, I think just give them the fishing gear right off the bat. Like, don't make them have to earn that. So if you're gonna do the no rice or beans or whatever, I think what she's saying though, Dave, is what happened with High tonight. Which, that's tough. Like, you go out there and you're like, I'm a vegan. It's like, oh yeah, we're not giving you rice. It's like, oh, what am I gonna eat then?
Being a vegan here on the island is very tough.
So
I think it's kind of unfair.
Use his vegan powers to win.
I think it's kind of unfair to him. He's kind of screwed, is he not? Like, I guess he can eat coconut.
He already weighs nothing. He has no body fat. This guy, he is a definite quit. Well, not definite until it happens, but like, I would be shocked if he makes it through this game. Like, because if he's like struggling just to eat a little bit of crab, and they don't have rice, and he's used to a very different, probably carb-based diet, and he won't be getting any of that. Like, he's got no fat to like stores to go to here. So, like, I think he made the right call tonight, eating the crab. Because I think he's like, well, I'm going to get voted out, or I'm going to, get so hungry that I won't be useful anyway. So I get that they thought there would be a big bag of rice there, and that's what they would live off of. But I think that you have to be prepared for Survivor to throw this. I
think though he didn't come in with thinking it through, because even with a bag of rice, people still like are hungry, like very hungry for food. The rice only gets you so far. So like, and he tried his best, I know from a previous episode, to put on weight, but my gosh, like, he's already running at a deficit. So I think he should have learned how to forage for plants and coconuts. Like, put a lot of his energy into that, because he's going to need consistent sustenance. And if they're only able to get fish, what is he going to do? Say, when you guys get the rice, give me the rice and you guys can have fish. It's not going to work that way.
No.
Not enough food in general for
the fish. The only I think the fish is the only thing that's going to help him, Jaemeel. Like, if he doesn't get fish, I think Dave's right. He's going to quit.
Yeah, he'll crash,
and that's not a team that's gonna win like a lot of, rewards. It's just not.
But they are up two. They are up 2 people right now compared to the other 2 tribes, somehow, or like at least one. Because Blues lost one, right?
And we really had we haven't had the very physical, outside of the first challenge, mind you. Like, more physical challenges are going to come around. They're going to get the team physical challenges going, and they're going to suffer.
This one was a bit physical tonight, but yeah, it had more of like, you had teamwork. It was kind of the goal tonight, directing people through the blindfold. Next comment.
That one's not as hard. Yeah, go ahead.
Just DM Rocks here saying, I can't believe that Mike lost that idol and then made a mistake telling Daniel about it. So he also told Jenny about it, who we knew that they were allied together. Obviously he can't, because Daniel just goes around and tells
everyone,
basically. In particular, he went to who was that one? Chanel, right? That he went to directly, and like he's like, okay, we're going to use this against it. But what did you think of that phrase that he was given?
There is such grace in a game of soccer. It makes me cry. I don't like soccer.
He doesn't even like soccer. Is this better or worse than I'm more confused as a goat on AstroTurf?
It's worse. Because everyone will know.
It's
He's like, you're lying. You're lying.
yeah, that, and unless there's some sort of game where they're kicking a ball, I don't think he's going to be able to like fit that in.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, how is he going to be able to say that before the challenge when they're like swimming? You know what I mean? Like, he'd be like, I don't like swimming, and then say it, I guess. But like, everyone's gonna be like, huh?
Well,
because his entire tribe. Oh, sorry. Because his entire tribe knows. Sorry about that, Dave. Because his entire tribe knows already about the phrase, they might as well just keep saying it, and it puts more pressure on the other team.
Yeah, but what after you've seen like just how when Mike found it, the way he handled it, and sort of the result of this tonight, are we all kind of like disappointed in Mike? Are we not feeling? Who has Mike in the draft?
Not me.
Daryl has Mike in the draft.
Yet I can't complain.
Yeah, well,
I call him
Jameel's
Mike Tyson. I call him Mike Tyson.
Iron Mike Turner. We'll call him
Iron Mike Turner.
Yeah, there he goes.
But just keep
Iron
it with
Mike.
you. It's a small bundle. Why are you burying it again?
Well, and then just like, oh, I think I left it here at the Y in the road, and Daniel's like, do you know how many forks in the road there are around here? Like, it could be anywhere. Just like the
Boston
the whole,
Iron Mike.
He's from Hoboken.
He's all right. So it's a Jersey accent.
Yeah, Jersey Puerto Rican accent, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Mike Turner.
That's my.
Yeah, so I don't know. Obviously, the other two tribes, Orange and Blue, have not come across theirs yet. So I thought the only thing I thought was smart about this tonight was that that the advice from Daniel, like, don't say this at the very first opportunity once we get to the the meeting up with the other tribes at the challenge, because like chances are we're the first to find it, right? Which we they didn't see season 41, so they haven't seen this twist before, so they don't have that. So they're anticipating better than that cast did, at least, who were just like blurting it out right away once they got their first opportunity, right? In all three cases, basically. Mary saying Mike was bad, telling everyone rookie move, and he hasn't even seen the show. He must not have seen the show. I think he's seen the show, but
I don't think he's seen the show.
I don't think you see the show, and like I don't really understand what like I understood him telling Jenny, because he's like, literally, I have no idea what to do. I don't have a vote now. Like, what am I even playing? Like, I don't think he gets it. So I get him telling Jenny to help him through, because he seems like he can trust Jenny. Telling Daniel, huge mistake. He literally says, because he's smart, and I'm like,
he's smart.
No.
Yeah, Boston.
I'm like.
If this was the Dark
I kept
Knight,
thinking he's from Boston.
If this was the Dark Knight, the Joker would point at Daniel and say, "He's a squealer." Like, he's gonna get out and he's just gonna squeal on you. He's just gonna tell everyone. Like, Daniel
He's a
looks
squealer, and I can tell the squealers.
He does. Like, he looks like he'll tell. It's like, hey, Mike got a secret. I'm gonna tell you, right? Just. But I do like the idea. If you know that Mike has this disadvantage, don't vote out Mike. Vote out Mike's support system. He can't do anything to you. He literally cannot. He cannot vote.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you keep him around to the 3. Like, if you're a 2-person alliance, you keep him around right to 3. You know,
and that's an interesting thing. So, like, for the future. So if I'm out, let's say I was allied with Mike, I might get voted out because he has no power.
Yeah,
because he found something. Imagine Jenny didn't even know, and she got voted out because of this, right? Because she's the support system. You know,
Jenny should blurt it out during next immunity challenge.
Maybe she should just say the phrase.
What does she have to lose at this point? Like,
well, I don't know. I doubt she knows how much trouble she might be in if our thinking is logical, right? Like, you know, if the tribe, which seems I think it is. I think that it seems credible that the tribe might vote her out. Just to your point, like why vote out Mike? He's completely a non-threat until this idol is activated.
You have enough warning that you can keep voting for him until you start hearing the other people do their messages. So you have like a a warning symbol, a warning detector alarm telling you when the idol is unsafe. Until then, you're home free, and you have enough people that you can pick off in the meantime. Right. At the it's just I don't understand why he went and told Daniel. But at the same time, if I'm anyone else, I'm like, Daniel can't keep a secret. I can't trust this dude either.
No, it was interesting watching Daniel also go over the scroll because he's a law clerk and he was like examining the scroll. And he was like looking at the rules and the conditions. It was, he's like, "Don't worry, Mike. I will be your consultant here. I'll be your paralegal."
He's like his lawyer, and that, but like his dirty lawyer that will never, you can never trust. Like that's kind of how he's already decided. Like within 10 seconds, he was like, okay. Get rid of I'm never like how could Mike might find out at some point, just not trust him. Because
you can't steal someone's idol.
What's going on?
Mary asking, will they get in trouble for stealing someone's idol? You can't steal the idol, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're Shan. Unless you're Sham. You could
you can trick somebody into giving it to you.
True.
But you can't steal it from their bag or something.
Yeah. Last year they had the situation where they found the package, but it wasn't opened. Right, the effects of the idol don't come into effect until you open it up. So, if we remember from last time, the tribe had it, reburied it, mentioned it to another team member. The team member was going to go and get it, and they decided to scoop it up because there was an opportunity for that person to take it.
I'm trying to remember her name, the one that Chan like basically swindled out of that. I can just probably figure that out quickly.
Her name was the one picked last time. Of course, she didn't win.
Jeannie.
Yep.
Yeah, Jeannie Chan. So
I've been picking some stinkers as of late.
You'd be the golden boy in this draft, Jaemeel. You could pick first, second, third place with right out the bat, and now you've got 3 picks this draft, and you've lost 2 in 2 episodes.
Yep, so, and the third one next episode.
Swati is your lone piece on the board left.
Right, and Tori's coming for.
Tori and Swati are coming for Drea. Maybe.
I think that's going to turn around on Swati. They're going to be like, we can't trust this girl. She's too smart.
Yep.
Yeah, I think she is very smart too. Okay, and so like just to maybe get back to the episode, there's a lot. So other things, what have we not covered tonight that also took place?
Did you like the challenge?
It was painful watching those people run into posts and obstacles that much and things like that, but that's how it goes.
I didn't like the puzzle, guys. Like, I mean, that was pretty weak. That wasn't a puzzle. That was just like, I mean, normally they would make them like, remember like when Russell almost died and they were like moving the ball through a maze. That was way better with 4 people holding on to the thing or whatever.
Or it should have been a slide puzzle.
Or slide puzzle. Yeah, slide puzzle would have been good. But this puzzle was like literally like just, figure out how to put it in a circle. That was not much of a puzzle.
You're right. It was bad because the Orange Tribe lost, and therefore it was bad.
Look, who do you blame for the Orange team losing?
I blame Jonathan.
Really?
I blame whoever decided to put Jonathan as the caller. I think they should have made it Marianne. She's the loudest person.
Yeah. That might have been the better thing. So Jonathan was like almost doing his wrestler voice, at times. He's like, "Can you hear me? I am Jonathan." Right? And he's
I'm
like,
vengeance.
He wasn't doing
he was
job.
Batman up there. No, he was awful. And like
Lydia,
the thing is his voice isn't distinctive. I think they should have used Marianne because you're gonna hear Marianne. You're gonna know it's Marianne. You know what I mean? You've heard that voice for that last 5 days straight. You're gonna know when she's barking an order at you. You know what I mean?
At first, I was excited for Orange because I'm like, okay, Jonathan. It was Drea and Lydia were the other 2 callers, and I'm like, okay, the 2 women. So Jonathan's voice should stand out on top of these 2 women's voices, but it apparently it didn't, or it didn't work so much, because you also had Probst kind of like running around in the background, with his little quips and his little comments, and he even says, "I'm talking, people are talking. Who can keep this straight? This is Survivor. How great is this?"
It's like, dude, shut up.
Shut up. Sometimes Probst, like, we know we can follow along, But yeah, it was. So I was like, this was probably the wrong call. Like, to put, like, I understood why they put Jonathan in that position, but I think that Marianne or almost anyone else would have been better.
I think they lost the puzzle.
Yeah, they were in the lead. Orange was in the lead, and they lost it at the puzzle. You're right. And there was we also said tonight, like, Jonathan and Omar seem to be becoming a bit of an alliance, because they think that they can work together, because they have they complement each other's strengths and weaknesses respectively. They make the perfect human.
They're the only men they've, like, on the tribe. And it's like the giant man is like, "Oh, I'm giant man on this tribe of weaklings." And you know what I mean? Like, and they're going to vote me out and see me as threat. Like, he's kind of Tarzan, right, Jonathan? That's kind of what he reminds me of.
And who's Omar?
Omar is like his, smart assistant that's running the business.
Scientist man,
it's of mice and men. Okay. It's Lenny and Bruce. What is it?
Yeah, maybe it's like the Punisher and whoever that guy who works at the van who makes Punisher's gadgets and
the
stuff
dude
like that.
His guy in the chair.
Yeah, his guy, whoever that guy's name is, his whistler.
It's Monsters Inc.
Sorry, Lenny and George. Okay,
Lenny and George. That's
Lenny
Omar
and George
and Jonathan.
No, from Lenny and George from Of Mice and Men, right? And then later on, Lenny is going to take George. Sorry, George is going to take Lenny, and then have he's going to put him to pasture.
But I'd imagine that Omar is the one who's good at puzzles, and Jonathan is not as much, right? And so the strategic error here, more so than him being the caller overall, was that he had to be the caller for the puzzle. And and ultimately it's Jonathan solving the puzzle, not like Omar. Really, he's blindfolded.
Well, is it the fault why Marianne wasn't put as the caller, because they were afraid that when it comes to puzzle times, her thought she's not lucid enough sometimes, that it's just going to be stream of consciousness in terms of kind of direction, and might be difficult.
That's plausible. Yeah, I could see that could have factored into their. Omar could have been the caller tonight.
Omar certainly could have been the caller.
I
didn't like how they gave up in the puzzle. If we watch the puzzle back, like, they were kind of soft at the end, and there wasn't like this immediacy that was needed, right? Because
blue and orange basically got there at the same time, right? And green was falling behind, and they had to catch up. But then they ended up winning the whole thing, because Lydia was actually very effective in the caller role tonight, because she was really good at yelling at them. And at first she was weaker. At first it wasn't going so well for them, and then she kind of figured out what she needed to do. She kind of seemed to adjust in that challenge tonight. Whereas Drea, I think, was kind of just doing the same thing kind of the whole way through. And speaking of that, and the whole thing where Roxroy ran into his balls there, the post.
He's gonna feel that one for a few days.
And then you got Daniel over on the Green Tribe going,
"You gotta protect the balls, Roxroy.
You gotta protect the balls, Roxroy."
That is true in this challenge, but in this challenge, many times they hold their balls while they walk. That's definitely something that has occurred in the blindfold challenge.
Yeah. This challenge would terrify me, to people to participate, because you could hit your head, you could knock yourself out of this, like, you could be medically evacuated without much effort here if you do the wrong thing, you break a toe, whatever, or a finger. If you're going too fast, up, like it wouldn't take much.
You're also attached to another person.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be the worst part.
I don't know why they they go so fast when going to things, especially when multiple people are being directed at the same time. It's like, hey, Just tell me if I need to walk straight. Right? I like the whole shimmy, stop right in front of you. Right?
That was Drea's approach.
That was
right?
Drea.
Shimmy, straight.
That was perfect. No, like walk forward, walk. It's on the right hand side. Which right hand side. Which like we see it every single time.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. It's a skill that we don't normally have to employ in our daily lives, leading people who are blindfolded through obstacle courses. It's, but in this you do.
More people need to play Red Rover.
Right. The other thing that came up in this challenge, it was actually at the beginning of the challenge before they actually started, because everyone got to see that Zach had been the voted out at the previous tribal council, and Marianne was like, "That's the kind of white guy I go for. Is the Zach, the skitty white guy, lanky guy?" I'm like, okay. She's like, "I thought we were gonna get married and live a happy life."
She
I was
was
like,
hoping for a merge tribe.
I was like, you never even met Zach. He could have been like, he was kind of, he was all right, I guess. But, you don't know anything about this guy, but just on looks, I guess.
She shouldn't have shot. Right on. You don't go into such detail, friend, but shoot your shot, sure.
Right.
That could have been the next
she's putting
Rob
it into
and
the
Amber.
universe.
Yeah, that could have been the next Rob and Amber, Dave.
It could have been the next Robin Amber. We'll never know. Zach and Marianne is not to be, but we'll see. Who knows? At the reunion show, like, didn't she say that? Like, I thought maybe later on, Jeff, you would get us together and you would say, "Why don't you?" It will probably actually. It won't happen.
This is why she needs to be voted out, so she would be sitting right beside him on any type of panel show.
Yeah, she would be sitting right next to him. She almost got her wish there. Yeah, any kind of reunion show. But this will have the vote there. So all the pre-jury boots are not going to even get to be part of the reunion, right? Or be part of the finale.
She needs to get out as soon as possible so she can be there, for the party.
Well, she got to figure out: does she want Zach more, or does she want to win Survivor more? I guess that's kind of what it comes down to.
Maybe she could find there's. More people can lose weight. There could be another skinny white guy in her future. Never know.
There's skinny Asian guys, Marianne. Is that if you can?
There you go.
There's high's gay, right? There's Romeo. No, is Romeo gay?
It's like, Jonathan, you got to lose a lot of weight. All that muscle mass.
Jonathan, who they seem to have like the best friendship. But I don't think it's romantic in any way. She said she's had a rough go romantically. She's never had any boyfriends.
No, she said all the people that she.
No.
Go ahead, Jeff.
What did she say?
Yeah, she said all the people she's been with have rejected her.
I thought all the people that she's like was into rejected her.
Right.
Oh, okay. So,
but we don't know if any of those are people she was actually romantic with.
Yeah.
It was all unrequited.
Maybe.
Right. Well, we don't know.
I hope you find love one day, Marianne. If it's with Zach Wurtenberger or somebody else, who's to say?
If Zach likes her, he should get a number after the episode. Call her up.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, it's not meant to be. They could have. You're right. They could have been the next Robin Amber.
It's some weird multiverse. You see them at the end of it. Just
winning
who would be Tom Jonathan?
Yeah, he'd be. Yeah,
stupid. Go like that.
Stupid. Who's Omar? I guess in that.
Omar is Alicia. In this
Alicia,
opposite world, he's actually a buff super dude, like Alicia was.
Okay, yeah, that will work. I was gonna say maybe the other one would be her, Lindsay.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
okay.
So we talked about the challenge. We talked about a lot of the tribes tonight. We talked about, of course, this ultimate vote out, and everything with that happened with Mike and him finding that advantage. So that's large. That's a big part of what we saw tonight.
Yeah. You have tribal
with
the Sean the Dark and the community.
Yeah, so this Shot in the Dark seems to be being played up more in this season than it was in 41. Is that just my perception?
You're right. I think
Yeah.
Shot in the Dark we saw what 2 all season last year, and
Yeah.
we're already 2 in this season. Second episode.
Right. I think it's a fine enough twist, although it's kind of like you can see that the players are always trying to like work their way around it, because I guess so. Like, what's the worst case scenario? Okay, let's say you're voting out Mariah here at the tribal. She plays her Shot in the Dark. Okay, well now no votes against her count, so whoever she voted for would go instead.
No, you lose your vote.
She lost her vote, so they'd have to revote.
You have to revote.
So presumably Marianne would just get voted out there, right?
Yeah,
if that happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm Omar and Lindsay and Jonathan and them, like, I don't know if I need to overthink this so much, like, about worrying about whether it's played or not, and if it is played, if it's a 1 in 6 chance that person's safe, like, that's pretty low.
See, if I was surprised that one of them didn't vote for Lindsay.
Well,
just in case.
5 people, right?
Because if there's a Shot in the Dark from either side, right? Let's say it is Marianne got she did the Shot in the Dark. All the votes were on Mariah. Mariah goes home. You're good, right? If Mariah got the Shot in the Dark and all the votes were on Mariah, right? What happens if Lindsay decided to put Omar or Jonathan down? You're screwed, right? So that's why you just protect yourself by just having one of you just decide, hey, one of you, we're just going to put one vote in, right?
Yeah.
Just one vote, just in case, just as a buffer.
I guess like the worst case scenario, if you're not Mariah or Marianne, is okay. They both play their Shot in the Dark. They both get safety, and now we got to vote out either Jonathan, Omar, or Lindsay.
Dave, like, we're lowering our expectations in terms of skill level because these people are truly unskilled. But if this was any type of veteran survivor, there's no way they would put all of their votes on one person and one person that only, with the Shot in the Dark twist as a strong possibility, and not put any type of protection. That just seemed like very foolhardy.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I get, why is that? I guess they're just afraid of being accidentally voted out. Is what it comes.
I would be afraid of being voted out if I was Omar and Jonathan. I don't trust Lindsay.
Yeah, Lindsay.
Why
she
don't you
seems to
trust
like
Lindsay?
Jonathan? Why don't you trust Lindsay? What's wrong with Lindsay?
She gives me a vibe. I'm sorry.
They got the trifecta alliance, those three. Like, they're like the religious trifecta. You got Jonathan the Christian, you got Omar the Muslim, and you got Lindsay the bad Jew. Self-described.
You know what? I thought that was interesting tonight that they kind of made point to show that he was a Muslim, because they've had like very few Muslim contestants on Survivor. And I think it's kind of a good thing.
Canadian too. He's not even Muslim American.
Yeah.
He's Muslim Canadian.
Yeah, which is kind of,
like,
I think most Americans most Americans watching the show don't know that, don't care probably that he's Canadian or whatever, I think, just to see him actually showcase that, like, his religion a little bit was kind of interesting, because they don't normally do it for other religions other than Christianity. Even if you're Jewish, they rarely bring it up.
Well,
right.
As long as he doesn't it's not near Ramadan, he's good. Ramadan.
Yeah, it was interesting. He's hey, I'm gonna go off tonight. I'm gonna go pray, as part of like the religious protocols and everything. I'm not looking for idols, but is there ever been a better built-in excuse to go look for idols?
With this tribe specifically, I think it's a perfect excuse.
Yeah. And Marianne's also religious too.
Yeah,
I believe, right?
she's in seminary
student. So she's training to become a pastor, presumably, right, or something along those lines.
Yep.
Yeah. So, that's the God squad tribe, I suppose. Maybe that's why Mariah got voted out. Maybe she didn't fit. Maybe she wasn't Christian enough for them, or religious enough. But
you could tell. Marianne reminds me of a coworker I have. He does not swear. So when you hear like the different substitutes for fuck, I don't know if you guys caught it, but like she was saying a whole.
Well, there was that part where like
didn't she say
fudge?
Fudge.
Yeah.
and
fudge.
fiddlesticks? Didn't she say like
Fiddles? Yeah,
I
she
thought
did
she
say
said
fiddlesticks too.
Right, because when they found it was Mariah and Lindsay found her like looking for the idol in the woods, basically, and it was very obvious that's what she was doing, and they both kind of like, ugh, how dare you look? I also this whole
They
thing
looked
like,
at each other. They looked at each other, and I'm like, way to have a poker face and like,
yeah,
you totally told her that you don't believe her.
way to totally tip it off. Yeah, it was just like, Marianne. But maybe after living with her for 5 days, they just have no filter left. Right? They're just like, this is just how they're going to react. Ultimately, Lindsay votes out Mariah anyway, regardless of whether or not Marianne was looking for idols. But
why
anyway,
do you think they voted? Why do you think they voted out Mariah over Marianne? Like, what do you think the reasoning was for each contestant? Because I think they were kind of different for each person. Like for Omar, like why did he vote Mariah out? Like I think it's because he wanted to keep the tribe strong. That was like his reason.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I think that was what all of their motivation was ultimately. You know, I think that the one who I think was most motivated to vote her out for like irritation reasons, just because like I don't like living with her on a beach, was probably Lindsay, I guess. But I think obviously Jonathan wanted.
I think Lindsay wanted to get rid of her more so because she was a liability, whereas the other people, I think, like she realizes kind of her energy, and she kind of had the most commentary about it. They all did, but her more so. I think Jonathan's also a big kid, you know, and so I think that's why he bonds with her. Whereas and Omar, Omar and Lindsay are more kind of they're a little bit more mature, and so. To me, like their decision tonight was a little bit like along the lines of we need the younger person, the more interesting person, than we need the older person. Like I think Mariah kind of just got voted out tonight because she's older, and like that not because of her personality, not really because of because she played bad. Because Marianne, let's face it, played way worse. She really probably deserved to go home there. And
put her foot in her mouth
saved
too much,
here.
talk too much.
She literally got saved here because of her age, and I think that's what's interesting about early game Survivor. Because Mariah, if this is the merge, Mariah's staying and Marianne's going.
Marianne's gone.
Sometimes it's just Marianne's gone. Like she's just untrustworthy. I'm not gonna put any information that I have into her mouth because it's gonna get blabbered in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So to keep her around is a mistake. That's where I come at it from.
I think they were smart to vote out Mariah over Marianne, if that's what it ultimately has to come down to.
Because it keeps you in the game.
It keeps me in the draft and it knocks Jaemeel down one. But besides that, I think Mariah to me was just not an interesting Survivor player. I don't
think that's fair. I don't think that's fair.
Her whole story was, and I feel, and I'm not trying to take anything away. Like her brother was the first healthcare worker in the United States to die from COVID. That's the only reason I think, was cast on this show. I don't think she is a strong enough. I think there was probably stronger TV type personalities than her.
What does Lindsay bring?
Lindsay's got some spunk. I like Lindsay.
Please.
She's the bad Jew. Come on, self-described. She's here to like go, and she was like, I think also just her like being sort of rattled by Marianne going around looking for idols. Like she's like, if you're gonna throw our whole alliance under the bus, you got to be on point. You got to be with the alliance. And so I'm okay with Lindsay. Mariah to me just wasn't like, I was like, you're just like one of these like housewife moms who just has nothing interesting about her. Like who's just like everything about you is about being a mom, and like I give everything for my kids, and this is now time for me to put myself first. Whatever. Like just
I think you're projecting. I think you are projecting.
Who am I projecting?
I think you're projecting your feelings about moms on reality shows, right, onto Mariah. Mariah seemed to have a good grasp of the game, a lot more so than other people in that tribe, right? Right? In the few conversations that we had with her on it. The tribe was never in a position until this episode to really be it. Like, this is the tribe that we expected not to see much about in the first couple of episodes because we thought they were going to steamroll.
Yeah, we
And
thought
what
Orange
they
was going
did
to
have-
dominate here, and they lost Jackson.
They had
which
Jackson.
is-
Yeah, that was kind of like, that's not fair because Jackson got taken out right away, and the other thing is the Green Tribe. I'm surprised by because like they were sucking in that tribe.
we all
today.
thought that they would
They
be
were
decimated, and now they are above. They got 2 more than Orange and 1 more than Blue right now.
Well, give it a chance.
Yeah, I just think that'll change. Yeah, but at the same time, the Orange Tribe, I think, kind of doesn't really have a leader. I think that's a part of, like, Omar is kind of their leader, but he's not playing the game he's not playing the tribe game. I don't think. I think he's playing more individualistic, and so that's kind of how I see it. That's why that tribe's not winning.
Mary's with you, Jaemeel. She likes Mariah too. Mom life #.
I would have much rather kept her around than Marianne by far.
I think she has more to
know.
offer outside of being a train wreck.
I like Marianne.
Yeah. Well, she's going to be good TV. She is going to be good
In a
TV.
sense, it's going to be cringe.
That's what I want. I ultimately, like, draft aside, like, I ultimately want good TV, and I don't think Mariah was going to give us good TV.
I think she would have been more of a strategic,
Mhm.
part of it, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, you have people in the game. I don't. So
You have 1 left. You have Swati. Or is it Schwati? I can't. There seems to be more.
I thought it was
Schwati.
Schwati.
Schwati?
Like sweaty balls.
Schwati balls. Schwati.
Sweaty
Yeah,
balls.
like we didn't get a ton from that Blue Tribe tonight. It was very, very brief. Just kind of check in. Roxroy, his only contribution to the episode was, "Hey, Drea, don't stand near the fire. You get smoke in your eyes." Hey, he runs his balls into a post, and that was about it for Roxroy.
Watch your balls, dude.
Romeo was like, I believe they voted out the # skinny guy, Zach. Tori was Tori. And Drea, we talked about. Yeah, like that tribe, I'm like, I'm not really pulling for anybody over there. And the Green Tribe is sort of like this other interesting one, too. But anyway, I think that's about all that happened in the episode. I think we kind of have talked about the whole plot of things, so maybe we can wrap up a bit early tonight, unless there's any comments or questions out there. Yeah, I'm liking this season so far, even compared to last season. I find in this cast fun. I'm just hoping that they stay out of the way and just let them play the game. And I think, like, taking the Flints away and things like that is a little bit too much, like Jeff said earlier. I think
you just keep the fire going. You should be fine.
Right, but like, why? I don't understand. Like like, if you're like, give them the flint, give them the fishing gear, and go. Like, I agree with taking the bag of rice away, because that would not happen on a deserted island. You would not find a bag of rice to eat for days. So,
where's the rum?
Where's the? What happened to the rum?
You wouldn't get fishing gear either, but you could make a spear, and you could make a net out of like some stockings or something. Like, you could so like that's at least plausible. Yeah, like I think they should be able to hunt their own food at least somewhat. It's interesting. Like, Jonathan's a spearfisher. They haven't shown anything of him spearfishing yet. So
that tribe hasn't really talked about being hungry though either.
That's true.
Only the Green Tribe is really talked about how starving it was, like, and in particular
Even with
high.
the fishing gear, they might be screwed.
They might be, but like it seems like there's crabs all over these islands. Like it seems like if you get enough of these together, you can make meals. Like it doesn't seem. I don't know. I haven't tried to live that, so maybe it's a lot harder than it seems to be.
Do you know how to cook and clean crab, Dave?
You boil them and then you eat them. I think that's about.
So not cleaning them is
cleaning them.
Yes.
No, I guess not.
Okay.
Jeff, what do you have to clean? How do you have to clean them?
Clean the crab?
Yeah, would you have to clean it if you before you eat it?
I guess you gotta take the poop out. That'd be my guess. I don't know. I don't like crab though. I don't eat crab.
You only eat the legs,
Jeff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't try to eat the head of the crab.
What do you mean? Like you just...
I'm a lobster guy. If we have had some lobsters,
like, let's find some lobster.
Yeah, that'd be crawfish
over there.
It's like we're in Maine. We're in Maine. Survivor Maine. Yeah, I get a lobster roll here.
Oh,
you
found
out here. Comment.
You found the crab. Can you point me in the direction of the lobster?
Mary's saying that season 40 was the same thing. They should be expecting this, but no, Mary, they didn't see season 40, so they weren't expecting this.
No, they would have seen 40, but they wouldn't have seen
40.
41.
But 40 had rice. They were giving them rice, right?
Did they give them the winners rice? Did they get the win? I don't know.
So.
Yeah, they probably did. That was a 39-day season, so I would imagine they did. Yeah.
So I like, especially with this condensed thing, to like give them like the sustenance and like, then what are you really doing? You're just surviving on less calories, basically. But it's not Survivor. I guess it comes down to how much of this game of Survivor is meant to be authentic survival. You know, like a Naked and Afraid, or
Zero.
some of these, or then why don't they just live in villas? Why live on a beach at all?
It's a game show, and they've decided that the game show is going to be this way.
Okay, like it's
like
why
it
don't
it also
target Ponderosa?
They
That's
also still
Zach.
have to sleep. Guys, they still have to sleep outside. They still have to use a fire for warmth. It's basically a giant camping trip where they eat very little. You know, that's kind of what it is at the end of the day. It's not a survival situation because none of them are in danger of dying. You know, they're not surviving out there. They're living uncomfortably.
At last outplay. That's how it goes.
Yeah, well, the problem with that, Dave, is like they tried that for the first 10 seasons, and certain players almost died. Like Mike Skupin fell into a fire. You know, like there were certain moments where the liability, I'm sure, was like, we gotta kind of, you know, stop this, and you know, because somebody might get killed out here, and we got to be careful.
All right, I remember the fire. He filmed the fire in Australia. All right, what are you gonna do? Just a quick, we can update on the we kind of mentioned it a few times. Just to quickly check in on our draft. Jaemeel,
Lord,
Jackson voted out day 3. Or medically evacuated day 3, I'm sorry. And then Mariah voted out day 5.
Not fair. Not fair at all.
So only Jen has lost somebody. Zach, and her the biggest Tory. I'm not looking at it. It's not looking too good over there. But my two are looking pretty. Marianne and Omar. You mark my words, one of them will be the winner. The second Canadian winner.
Lord, please no.
Anyway. So here on Super Mario Brothers Podcasting, we talk about all kinds of shows and reality and not, as well as movies and different things at different times. More recently, Jeff and I were talking about Ozark, the first 7 episodes of season 4, and I guess the last 7 will be coming out in just a couple of weeks in April. So Jeff and I will be touching base on that when that comes out. Also, I don't know if you know, but we've been covering Big Brother Canada 10. Sort of infrequently. We will be checking in later tonight to talk about that season, as they're in the 3rd week of that show, and we'll be kind of breaking down. Well, tomorrow's the eviction, so we'll be talking about who's on the block, who won the veto, and what's going on over there. We also talk about Marvel properties on Super Mario Brothers Podcasting, including like we talked about Hawkeye. We talked about things like WandaVision and Falcon the Winter Soldier and What If, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So check out our Marvel playlist if you like the MCU content. We got Moon Knight coming up and Doctor Strange and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And then Wait, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
Well, in the
And it's
multiverse,
Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi and the Multiverse
great.
of Madness.
I love it.
Doctor Strange and the Ten Rings.
in a different universe, that would be Doctor Strange and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and Shang-Chi and the Multiverse of Madness. And also you should check out our other channels. One's called Live Long and Podcast, where that's our Star Trek themed channel where we talk about all kinds of Star Trek. Monday nights, Jody Simpson and Adam Woodward lead the Star Trek Enterprise rewatch series, where we go through all those episodes along with myself and Kevin Millard. Check that out every Monday night on Live Long and Podcast. Tuesday nights, we talk about the next episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. We've been going through that rewatch for 2 years now, and we are up to season 5. We are the next episode we're covering is Rapture. Check that out next Tuesday. And then tomorrow we'll be talking about the 2 newest episodes of Star Trek. One will be Star Trek Picard. Actually, Jody Simpson here to comment. You know who is a survivor? Picard from Star Trek. # Live Long Podcast. And you can check that out tomorrow. Jody Simpson.
You know who won't be a survivor
of that first season?
You know who won't be a survivor? Jody Simpson. Come our next matchup on Trivial Debates.
Yes, well, exactly.
I think Worf, son of Moog, has a chance.
I would watch Doctor Strange and the Ten Rings, and then Ten Rings. Yeah. So check out, and then so tomorrow night, Star Trek Picard with Jody Simpson, Davin Skellhorn, Adam Woodward, and then myself and Michael Chan will be covering Star Trek Discovery's 4-season finale called Coming Home. Check that out both tomorrow. And then in Trivial Debates, as mentioned, is our 3rd channel. That's our monthly show. We argue about movies, TV, sports in a game show format. We got Jaemeel Robinson versus Jody Simpson versus Worf, son of Moog. So this is going to be an interesting one. Max Dudo hosting. That will be on Sunday, March 27th, 2022, 10 a.m. Eastern over on that channel. You can watch it live either on Facebook or on YouTube, or listen to the audio version after the fact. We got a couple of our friends' podcasts to mention. Michael Chan has his The Hellbound podcast with Alex Blackburn, a horror podcast they do every Wednesday. My son Eamon Mater, under his alias Sam Jerka, does Let's Talk About Fighting Games along with Sonic Smash Bros. Seth and Paranoia. I listened to their most recent episode today. It was called Let's Talk About Fighting Games episode 10. And then Eamon's like, is this our 10th episode? Maybe 11th. I'm not sure. Who can keep track? And so they were talking about all kinds of new things like KOF 15 and the different characters and the controversy around the Capcom characters. I don't know. You got to listen to get the full details. Viewer or listener discretion is advised.
When you're playing KOF, pick Terry, bow to the guard, power taser.
Yeah, Jody's saying he's Team Worf for the Trivial Debates, but he's going against Worf, so it's gonna be hard for him to be Team Worf.
Okay, don't make me have to drop some Scott Steiner math on him. He knows he can't beat me, so that's why he's hoping he can team up with Worf to take down the bad guy.
The bad guy, channeling the Scott Hall, just a couple days after his tragic passing. Yes, I think I've mentioned everything, guys. And so, as mentioned, we're going to be doing a quick check-in in a little bit to talk about Big Brother Canada 10 and what's going on over there. But until then, we'll come off and say good night to you guys. And thanks for listening. Thanks for the comments. And we hope you'll join us next week for episode 3, titled. Oh shoot.
titled
Go for the Gusto. Go for the Gusto. This was called Good and Guilty. I don't even know why it was called Good and Guilty, but it was. And on that,
because they were guilty about voting out Mariah. And
because they had to I think it was probably like Jonathan saying I have to lie to both of their faces and then vote one of them out, right? So I can only tell the truth to one of them. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us again. And until then, we will see you next week.
Sometimes when you think you're on the outside, you're exactly where you want to be. But it only works for the smart player who is always looking for opportunity.
Victory.